as total here for the numbers. Anyone but you and the beekeeper, but the numbers is not reporting the full box office numbers globally for both movies. Sites are reporting anyone but you made $100 million globally. The numbers only reports around 86 million or so. The Beekeeper did not report a lot of the Beekeeper's international box office, but a lot of numbers still remain pretty accurate for many of these movies. Mean Girls is the number one movie, and we'll talk about Disney's Soul at the end of the video and how poorly that movie is doing. But Mean Girls opened to $11 million. Actually, not opened. Second weekend. It's not doing too well internationally. You can definitely see here, not really doing too well internationally. It has yet to release in Austria, Belgium, and Switzerland, German speaking. And Germany, which must means it's releasing the German in those on that day. They don't have numbers for many of these international markets, but it isn't really doing too well internationally. Its best markets is Australia and Mexico at this current moment, with no numbers reported out of the UK and France. It didn't really do too well there either. So Mexico and Australia seem to be the only markets that have any interest in this Mean Girls movie. Which again, I think the fact that they didn't really tell this movie was a musical, people didn't really know this movie was a musical, because it's supposed to be a musical, really is dampening the box office success of this movie. Will this movie eventually break even? We'll wait and see what happens. We have another very slow weekend coming out, so wouldn't be surprised if this movie has another very small drop. The Beekeeper has also done pretty okay. The movie is probably going to make around 45 million domestic, but given the fact that there's nothing coming out next week, I think The Beekeeper will probably hold better than people would expect as well. Again, the international box office and the global box office, they report that the global box office last week was 39 to 40 million, but they are now reporting on a second weekend it finally hit the number that everyone else is reporting. So no one knows what the real box office numbers for The Beekeeper is, but I'm assuming it's still doing pretty well internationally as well. Wonka has made $541 million. I don't think it will hit 600 million globally. It probably won't. But 541 million is still very impressive. It has made $71 million in the UK versus its highest grossing market. It has done pretty well in France, Mexico, Australia, and Germany. Not really doing too well in Brazil. Again, they have not really reported much numbers around that country. Brazil does not have the most concrete numbers for some of its movies as well. But yeah. The movie has made 541 million globally on numbers, reports, adding to $200 million profit for Warner Brothers for that movie. And they do have $100 million on here. So Beekeeper is the only movie that doesn't have the full numbers here. Anyone But You passes $100 million globally. Which we're going to be dubbing this the elemental effect because some YouTuber, they're using this to maybe describe animated features, but I think it could definitely go into live action features as well. This movie only opened to a weekend opening of 6 million, which is awful, abysmal numbers. But just like with Elemental, The Sound of Freedom, and Migration, the movie, eventually, because of word of mouth, continue to make more and more money. And the best number is to break even. That's what you have to do. You have to break even and make money. Both Anyone But You and Migration broke even this week. Okay, both movies have officially broken even. Also, they're finally releasing this internationally. And also, internationally, this movie is having pretty good ratings as well. As this movie had a massive dump internationally, including Mexico, a huge market, Spain. It's not as big as Mexico, but you have Argentina, not a massive market. Brazil. Brazil is hit or miss, okay? I don't call Brazil the biggest market because Brazil is hit or miss, okay? Brazil doesn't have the same numbers like Mexico draws in for some of the movies. Brazil has biggest potential market, obviously. But Brazil, movies, not do as well as other countries. Brazil is usually around 20 to 30 million, even for like the biggest of movies like Mario or Barbie. But usually movies in Brazil don't do as well as Mexico or Europe, almost certainly. Okay. Next is Mike Grayson. The movie will probably pass on $1 million domestic. It's having pretty decent ratings. Not as great as the Puss in Boots movie, obviously. Puss in Boots already passed $100 million. But I think there's a difference between this and Puss in Boots. This is a kind of a more generic movie, as Puss in Boots is Puss in Boots. Okay, Puss in Boots had like a much more interesting story, but you definitely see these ratings happening in this movie. And the movie has officially broken even, passing the $180 million mark. It needs to break even. So that means this movie is not a box office failure. This movie is a box office success, as it has finally broken even for Illumination. Whatever Illumination is very happy about it as well, given the fact that this movie has finally broken even as well. This is very great for Illumination, so it does not break the streak of box office successes, as Migration has finally broken even. I think everyone was scared at the very beginning. Oh, this is Illumination's first failure. Illumination's first flop. Okay. Also with Illumination movies, I think it is gonna pass Hop globally. Okay. Yeah, I already passed Hop globally. It still makes Hop the lowest grossing Illumination movie as well. But I think the next movie it really has to pass is the Lorax, and I don't think it's gonna pass the Lorax globally. I think it's gonna be between that and the Lorax as well. I am glad this movie has broken even, because Migration is an original animated movie, and we need more original animated IPs as well. I see Migration's future really on streaming. Any sequels or spin-offs to further grow the IP, so the sequel could do even better than the first movie as well. Because Migration, Illumination, of course, was at its height during 2016, 2017, 2018, 2016. With Seek doing pretty well, Pets doing pretty well, but original animated movies have kind of struggled. They have kind of struggled. Of course, that's an understatement. Like Ruby Gilman, no one went to go see that. Okay. Elemental, it took people, the word of mouth for people to go see that movie. Migration as well. Okay. The wigs, for Migration are pretty good. Not as good as Elementals was. Actually, this movie's even more impressive than Elemental, because look at this. A movie at its current moment will have made only $44 million at the top. Movie has made double that. So this movie's performing better than Elemental compared to its opening as well. Same thing with Anyone But You, which continues to do pretty well throughout the weekends as well. I wonder if Sony will try to keep this movie in for Valentine's Day, because it's a rom-com movie. I think they probably will keep it around. It'll probably still make like $2 to $3 million on that month. Also, Aquaman will probably pass $4 million globally, which means this movie, I think, passed Black Adam's global total. Did it pass Black Adam? Yeah, it did. It passed Black Adam. Passed Black Adam's global total, which is pretty funny that Aquaman is still, at this moment, still has lost more money than Black Adam. But that means Black Adam and Aquaman's going to lose less money globally than Black Adam, which is pretty funny to see now as well. So Black Adam, again, it is mostly because international numbers are still pretty strong for the sequel goal, especially in Mexico, China, France, Germany, Brazil. All of these markets it's doing pretty well in, and it did pretty well in China. Next is ISS, which this movie is another box office failure. We looked at the budget, and the movie has a budget of $14 million, which does not make $14 million to break even. And it seems that there's not many interest in this ISS movie going forward. So this movie is a box office failure. Bleecker Street doesn't really have many successful movies. They basically are the dumping ground for all the failures. In 2024, last year, 2023, the highest grossing movie was $5 million. The best-selling movie was Logan Lucky, which was the only actual wide-release movie, which is pretty funny. Okay, but ISS is still a box office failure. Like for a lot of these movies now made by Bleecker Street. Don't expect me to much of the movies to break even at the box office. Next is Night Swim, which yes, this movie should be able to break even as well. The movie has kind of picked up internationally as well. It only needs like 1 million more. It only needs like $100,000 more or so to break even. And at this point, this movie will become the first box office success of 2020. For at least the first movie to break even. More so. The Boys in the Boat made $44 million globally. I did not look to see if this movie had a budget, but the movie is having pretty decent rigs at the box office, all things considered. Next is Queen Rock Montreal. I think this is about the band Queen. Yeah, I think this is about the actual band Queen. So it made $2 million. Pretty good. But, yeah, 5,000 per feeder. American Fiction continues to do pretty well. Well, the per feeder ratio has declined with the 32,000, but still so there's a lot of interest for this movie. It also has lost 400 feeders, but the feeder per ratio has gone up. So I expect this movie to gain even more feeders next week, and the per feeder ratio to drop almost totally again. The Iron Claw is starting to reach internationally. It started its long international release. So it has released in Australia and Russia. That's it. So far, they don't have any numbers for Australia. So they probably do have box office mojo. So their Book of Clarence, again, no one is going to see this movie at all. It has released in the UK, but they don't have any numbers for that movie in the UK. Box office mojo has more better numbers. The Boy and the Howard is still in theaters. Godzilla Minus One is still in theaters as well, making $90 million. Making around $53 million domestically. No, for the movie total. And then we have Soul. Okay, this movie is a failure. Okay. And Friday, Soul only had a total of 24. Yes, that's the amount of people who went to go see it. And it was supposed to be, oh, you get to see Inside Out if you buy this movie. Oh, no one went to go see it. Disney is failing at the box office, just like they happened last year. So it seems that the trends of Disney failing at the box office can continue into this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Soul is completely kicked out of theaters next week. I would be surprised it had a 70% drop, which is awful. Okay, it would be different if the movie had a pretty great hold, but it seems that absolutely no one cares about this theoretical re-release. Considering the fact that the Return of the Jedi and stuff, or A Nightmare Before Christmas got re-releases in theaters and they did pretty well, it makes this even bigger, even more sadder as well. So no one cares about Disney's re-releases. Okay, no one cares. It might not even hit $1 million domestically, which is pretty sad, all things considered. But yeah, another failure by Disney. We're not gonna count the box office of this movie, as this was a streaming release, which means we're not counting it at all. But it is pretty sad that Soul is making absolutely no money at the box office as well. And that's about this video here. Goodbye.